All right, what is going on, guys? Today we have quite the video. I don't know how long it's actually going to be because my information here is somewhat limited. I don't know a incredible amount about what I'm talking about today, but I feel like I kind of know and remember enough, and I've done enough little touch-up research to make this video and put this video out. So this might be a shorter one for the, what happened to kind of thing, but it's been one that I've been thinking about for a while, but I haven't been too sure. And that is, of course, because we were talking about Gabbie Hanna, which, I mean, you guys already knew that. You guys are geniuses, and you've probably read the title, so good for you. But Gabbie Hanna, oh boy. So, if you don't know who Gabbie Hanna is, there's a good chance you know what the Gabbie Show is, which I believe was the name of her YouTube channel. And oh boy, did she didn't only go off the rails, she launched herself off of the rails. I don't know what exactly happened to her. She kind of just faded away from YouTube, I guess. So she was a big YouTuber. She's one of the original kind of big YouTubers. Up there with PewDiePie and Ray William Johnson and, people like that. People that from your childhood, right? Or maybe you're younger than me and, that wasn't part of your childhood. But people from when you were a lot younger on YouTube, around when YouTube was first starting, when it was still new, they didn't throw a shitty fucking feature in every other month. But yeah, so she was doing okay. She was good. She built up a channel. She built up a large following. And she was doing good, why not? She was on the top of her game. Sure. I mean, hey, if you're a YouTuber, that's good for you. Now, what happened is she started falling off, I would say, and this was oh God, I don't even know anymore. Anywhere within the span of 2017 to 2020, maybe, she just freaked out. And when I say freaked out, I don't mean she had a big freak out on camera and then took, a month or two or three or whatever off for a break and then came back and was okay, that's fine, whatever, we're all right. She freaked out and hasn't really been the same person since. She was, one of her bigger freakouts was she said everybody was bullying her and the commentary videos made on her were getting way more views than her music or something, and she was calling out YouTube for shadow banning her, and YouTube was trying to take her down and blah 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 and promote all this propaganda against her, and just a bunch, a crazy argument, probably mental breakdown worthy, if not bordering mental breakdown, which, I mean, I'm not going to laugh at that. That's definitely a serious issue. It's obviously not good when any creator has a mental breakdown, and it's something that honestly isn't talked about enough because it's very easily something that can happen to anybody who creates media, not even just YouTubers. I mean, singers, actors, you name it. Anybody that's out there in the public eye, really susceptible to mental breakdowns and stuff because you have a lot of opinions out there about you, and you can honestly get to a point where you don't know which one's real and which one's not. It's hard to define what you define yourself as and what your community, fans, and people who don't like you define you as, It's I've talked about it before, there's oftentimes a difference between the YouTuber as a person and the YouTuber as a YouTuber. And it's hard to differentiate sometimes for some people. Luckily, I haven't had any problems with that yet, but, I mean, it's not out of the question. So, not going to laugh at her for having a mental breakdown, essentially, because that's just wrong. But she did freak out a lot. And she probably didn't go about it the best way. She continued appearing on podcasts and stuff to talk about it rather than just taking a step away and kind of reflecting and having some her time just to find herself again and, realize what was right and that whatever other people say doesn't really fucking matter because it's the internet. But she just didn't do that. She did step away eventually for some time. I don't really know when, because if I'm to be honest, it dragged out so long. I just don't care. I just didn't care anymore. I was kind of following it because I was like, oh wow, this is kind of shocking. She was huge, but it dragged out for so long. And I mean, it was really to the point where everybody was making videos on her, not because of, her being a bad person or her fucking up or stuff like that. It was more of she just kept digging a hole for herself, and it was so easy for other commentary channels to make videos on it. Some of them were a little more malicious than others, or a little harsher. I mean, obviously, Leafy made a couple videos, I think, and Leafy tends to lean on the harsher side of things. But also people like a Tozy, who's more into just reporting and making, kind of more along the lines of me, where he's not really out there to attack people. He's just kind of there to say what's going on or what happened or blah, 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 right? He also made some videos, and it was just a big, huge problem, and she was really drawing it out, which you just really shouldn't do. I mean, even if she was getting views from it or something like that, and that was making her happy, I guess, maybe, which views don't really fix stuff like that. I don't know what happened. So, yeah, that's basically, where the kind of downfall began. But then there's also, like I was saying, the fact that she never really returned to what she used to be. I feel like she was on this slow kind of weird decline, and it changed her as a person in a way. And she's around that age where it really is a turning point in pretty much everybody's life, where they're really like, is what I'm doing what I want to be doing, or is who I am who I really want to be, or stuff like that. You go through those thoughts at definitely certain milestones in your life, and I believe she was right around like mid to late 20s, which is definitely a pretty good time for it. Same with once you hit your later teenage years and you're like, oh shit, I'm going to be a fucking adult soon. Am I going in the direction I want to be going? That later one in the later half of your 20s is like, shit, did I follow up on that last one and, make it count? And then you probably have another one, fucking later on in like your 60s or some shit where you're like, oh shit, I'm an old fucking person now. But she just hit that, and it kind of spiraled for the worse, I guess, in my opinion. Maybe to her, not so much, but for me, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree, it just feels weird. A lot of the stuff she does now feels almost forced. It just doesn't flow. It doesn't feel like, what she used to be about. And obviously people change, like what I just talked about, but it's just different. And I mean, you can obviously see her views have dropped off tremendously within the last few years. I mean, they're nowhere near where they used to be, which And not every YouTuber can last forever, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's gonna be a point where you hit a wall and you're just out of creativity because you've been doing it for, I don't know, 10 years or something, or where you just can't do it anymore because it's just not fun. But wow, I mean, the most I've heard from her now is I've seen maybe, I think they're TikToks. I've seen like a couple TikTok type things with her, and she seems to really like, making like abstract, self-expressive art, and stuff like that, which, okay. I mean, it just feels like she took the easy way out. She just kind of ran away. And not that there's anything wrong with that, especially when you have something like a mental breakdown, but she never really addressed exactly what happened with her. And, that's kind of a problem. When you're a public figure, at least in my opinion, I feel like if something does go wrong and then you choose to make it as public as she did, or, you pride yourself on really being honest and open with your audience, and then something goes wrong like that, and your community can obviously tell, but then you don't really explain it or open up to them or be honest with them, it's just kind of like a markdown for me. Like, really? Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like a lot happened with Gabbie Hanna all at once. She went from perfectly okay to not at all okay. Really big mental breakdown, kind of probably easy to assume it's changed her, and it will change her for the rest of her life. I think the stress really just got to her at the end of the day. The stress, the pressure, the comments being made about her from commentary videos, which I know I sound really hypocritical right now, considering this is a commentary video about her, but it was just too much, I think. And I could feel that. I could see where she's coming from. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just pretty much what happened. At least that's as far as I know. She's still out there talking about positive stuff. I think she's like pretty big into female empowerment, which there's nothing wrong with that. And, body image, stuff like that, good things that should get talked about more, I guess, but, oftentimes don't. And it does take people like her sometimes. Personally, I find a lot of the things they do to be a little cheesy. I think there's, much better ways to go about it than, say, somebody like her. If I was, for example, to preach for those things, I would probably just try and have a more calm and relaxed conversation about it with my audience, much like how I do it in a lot of my videos. I think it's pretty easy to, see what I support, what I don't, what I like, what I don't, from a lot of my videos, because I just like to stay open. I don't really like to sugarcoat things or, blow things out of proportion, way over the top to make points, because I feel it's personally kind of dumb. Even if it's something I really support, I'm not going to go out of the way to make it sound like the latest, greatest, best thing ever. I'm just going to say, hey, this is something that's cool and, it's fine. But I don't know. Gabbie Hanna went a different way after she fell off of YouTube pretty much. I don't know if she makes YouTube videos anymore. I honestly haven't checked in a while. And quite frankly, I really don't care. I think that her stint on YouTube is just over. And yeah, that's really that. So this was kind of a more sad what happened to, because her everything just fell apart for her. But I'm dying from COVID still. Oh my God. It's like 2 weeks past. It's still attacking. But okay, yeah, back to Gabbie Hanna. She's just, everything fell apart for her, and it is what it is. So that was that was this video for what happened to Gabbie Hanna. It turned out to be actually as long as many of the other ones, which is kind of surprising. I didn't think it would be, but yeah, I rambled on just long enough to make over a 15-minute video, so that's cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button. I know we can get to 500 by the end of the year, and I am stuck in a subscriber rut at 330. If we could push me like past 340 or something, that would be great, because I seem to get like 330, then I go up to like 334, and then I drop back down to 331. It's been the most frustrating thing for the last couple months. So let's try and push forward with those subs and get that 500 by the end of the year. That would be great. I know you guys can do it. And I will keep providing you with content every Tuesday and Thursday. I promise you. But as always, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.